Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to solve a super important question, that is fruit into basket in the simplest way as possible as we can. Right, so basically we are given an array where each number represent a fruit type, and we need to pick only two types of fruit, and eventually we're gonna have to write the maximum number of fruits that we're gonna collect continuously from this array, right? So now let's see the idea. So basically we're going to use sliding window approach for this specific question, right? So we're going to maintain a window using two pointers like left and right. So we're gonna take two pointers, which is going to be our left pointer or our right pointer, right? And we also use a dictionary to store the count of fruit in our basket, right? So I'm going to take a dictionary right now. I'm going to just represent our dictionary like this, okay? And we also want one more variable, which is our, I'm going to name it maxi, or in short I'm going to name it over here m. There we're going to store the maximum count, right? And now let's understand the working part, that what actually we're going to do is we're going to move our right pointer uh, ahead and keep adding those fruits or these element inside our dictionary. And if the number of the fruit type become more than 2, so in that case what we're going to do, we're going to shrink the window from the left side, right? And we're gonna keep doing this and track the maximum window size, right? So this is what we're actually going to do, and now let's see practically how it's going to work. Okay, so basically our right pointer is right now pointed to one of this element. So what we're going to do, we're going to add this element inside our dictionary and also their frequency, right? So we'll have to add this element, this is one, okay, and plus their frequency, so it's appear only one time, right? So their frequency is going to be 1, right? So if we're gonna get this element in future one more time, right, so we're going to just increment their value by 1, right? This is what we're actually going to do, right? And yes, how we're gonna maintain, how we're gonna check this maxi, right? So for that, what we're going to do, we're gonna have a one formula, that is right minus left plus 1, right? So right now right is 0, left is 0, so we're going to add plus 1. So right now we have m, which is going to be our maxi, is 1, right? And now let's move our right pointer one step ahead. So let's move this, and again we're gonna add this element, this inside our dictionary, right? So we're gonna add this and also their frequency. So right now their frequency is 1, right? So we're gonna write here 1, and now we're gonna check again, right minus left plus 1. So right is 1 and left is 0, right? So 1 minus 0 plus 1 is 2, right? So now our maxi is equals to 2. Okay, now let's move our right pointer one step ahead one more time. Okay, so we're gonna select this and we're gonna move this. Okay, so we need to add this element again in our dictionary. So we're going to add this, plus also we'll have to define their value as their frequency. So right now it's appear only one time, and we know that if the len of dictionary is going to be greater than 2, right? So in that case, as I have told you earlier, in that case what we're going to do, we're going to shrink our sliding window, right? We're going to shrink our sliding window. Okay, so for that we'll need to move our left pointer one step forward, right? And why we actually maintaining the len of dictionary should have to be less than 2? Why we're doing this? So because we have only two baskets, right? And in both of the basket we need to store one type of fruit inside that. We didn't have three basket, right? We didn't have three baskets, so that's why we're just maintaining the len of dictionary less than 2, right? Yes, that is why if the len of dictionary is greater than 2, so in this case what we're going to do, we're going to just shrink our sliding window by 1. And also, as we know that we're just shrinking the sliding window, so just moving this left pointer one step forward, right? So we didn't want, and we didn't going to just add it, we're going to just delete this number from our dictionary, right? So this is what we're actually going to do it. So now let's move this forward. Okay, and now let's delete this element from our dictionary, right? So we're going to delete this. Yes, and now again right minus left plus 1, so again we get the 2, right? So now let's move our right pointer one step ahead one more time. So we're gonna move this. Yes, so again we get 2. Again we get 2. So what we're going to do, we're just going to update their value, right? Because 2 is already there in dictionary, right? So now the frequency is going to be 2. So we get a 2, and we're going to check left minus right plus 1. So left, it's basically going to be our 3, right? And now let's move our right pointer again one more time, one step forward. Yeah, and then again we get 2, right? So 2 is already there in our dictionary, so just we need to update their value. So we're going to write over here 3, right? Yes, and now again we're going to do the left minus right plus 1, and basically it is going to be 4. And this is what our answer, right? So basically what we are actually doing is we are just moving the right pointer and keep adding those elements inside our dictionary, right? And we're just checking some of the conditions, like if the number of the fruit type become more than 2, right? So in that case we are just shrinking our window from the left side, right? And now let's see the code. Okay, so firstly we're just going to initialize our variables. So we have a maxi, right? Initially it is going to be 0. Then we have a dictionary, so I'm going to name this my dict, right? And then we have curly braces, and also we have a pointer, right? So left pointer, or we have a right pointer, initially both are going to be 0, so it's going to be 0 comma 0. Yes, and now we'll just start iterating it. So I'm going to apply a while loop, like while our right pointer is less than len of fruits per UITS, right? So in that case, what we are going to do, we're going to add that fruit inside our dictionary, or that element inside our dictionary, right? So we're going to write like my dict of fruits of right, whatever the element which is pointed by our right pointer, we're gonna add it inside our dictionary. So we're gonna write my dict. I'm gonna using a get function. So I'm gonna write a get. So what does it do? It's actually, if that element is already exist in our dictionary, so it's going to increment their frequency by 1, right? And if it is not there, so we're gonna go with 0. So yeah, we're gonna write fruits of R if the element was there, and if it is not there, we're gonna write their value 0. And if that element is already exist in our dictionary, so we're gonna add 1 in their value, right? Yes. And then we're going to check in again if len of dictionary is greater than 2, right? So we have this edge case, like if our len of dictionary is going to be greater than 2, so in that case we need to shrink our sliding window, right? So now let's manage this edge case also. So if our len of my dict, right, is going to be greater than 2, right? If it is greater than 2, so we're going to first of all we're going to decrement their value from our dictionary, right? Yes. So I'm going to write my dict of, if I fruits of left pointer, right? We need to decrement their value by 1. So minus equals to 1, right? And also if the value of that element is equals to 0, right, we're just continuously decrementing their value again and again, again and again. And if and now the case come when their the value is reaches to 0, so in that case we'll just have to remove that element from our dictionary, right? Yes. So now let's manage this case also. So if my dict of fruits of L is reaches to 0, so in that case we didn't want that element anymore in our dictionary, right? So we'll need to delete my dict of fruits of L, right? So we're gonna delete that element, and also we're going to uh, move our left pointer plus equals to 1. Yes. And now we have one more case, right? That if our len of dictionary is less than 2, right? This is one of the valid case, right? So in valid case, what we're going to do, we need to update our maxi, right? So for that, we're gonna write if len of my dict, if it is less than equals to 2, so in this case we're going to update our maxi, right? So maxi is equals to max of that previous value, right? That previous value, or we have right minus left plus 1, right? Yes. And in all the cases we need to increment our right pointer. So for that we're going to write r plus equals to 1, right? And at the end we need to return maxi, right? So now let's run this. Accepted. And now let's submit this. So yes. So the time complexity of this algorithm is big O of n because each element is visited at most twice, and also the space complexity is big O of 1 because we store at most 2 fruit types, right? Yes. And here we done this. So if you understood sliding window from this video, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more coding content, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye bye.